Good morning. Well, I'm on my way again. A terrible night. It rained and howled for most of the night, but this morning it had dawned. Beautiful blue skies, sun's shining through the clouds. It's nice and cool. It's perfect. Just left the campsite. Mike left 20 minutes ago. He's walking to Peaceful Bay today, as am I. It's only 11 k's. And his trek stops there. He catches a ride home. Paul is back at the campsite. He turned up after we did yesterday afternoon. He's walking to Peaceful Bay, and then he's stopping his walk there too. And well, Maddie's still in bed. A couple of ladies turned up late in the afternoon as the rain was beginning to pour. They somehow managed to set up a tent. Didn't see anything of them, and I don't know when they left. As I said, it's a short walk today into Peaceful Bay. I have secured some accommodation, so I know I have a decent bed tonight, and I presume a shower. There's a general store there. We can do a bit of shopping. Right, there's also a fish and chip shop there. A famed fish and chip shop there. It's well known on the Bibbulmun track as being the place to eat in Peaceful Bay. So we'll be giving that a go too. These sand dunes are amazing. When we walk through the forest, as a general rule, the visibility ahead of us on the path is probably no more than 100 meters. Crossing these sand dunes, I've been going for 45 minutes. I've done nearly 3 k's, and I can still see the hut and most of the path I've walked on from here. "360 degrees of wonderful wilderness view." It's a beautiful morning. Going well, going strong, still nice and cool. I've been going for an hour and a half, and already I'm halfway through today's walk. As you can see, we're just now approaching the beach once again, and in a little while we'll be walking along the shoreline again. Okay, I've been going 2.5 hours and I've reached Point Irwin. I know that because it says so on this sign. These signs are clever actually. This coast is so remote and rugged, and when people get into trouble on it, there's no real easy way to describe where you are. So they put this sign with its code DE274 in the car park. If I was to see anybody into trouble, all I would have to do is ring the emergency services with that code and they would know exactly where I am. Time for a break and a breakfast Snickers, I think. Right, well this is the entry into Peaceful Bay, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. This is the trailhead, so this is the end of it. What I have to do now is find my accommodation. Good morning. Well, at 6:30 in the morning, a really early start, possibly the earliest I've ever started on any of the walks, and there's a reason for that. I'm leaving Peaceful Bay. It's well named. Lovely little spot. I had a good feed of fish and chips last night, and what must be the best night's sleep I've had since leaving home 3-4 weeks ago. But we're off. It's going to be a hard day today. Everything says so. Anecdotes from the track, comments in the red book at the trailhead, comments in the green book at the trailhead. 24 k's today to Boat Harbour, and I believe all of it is over sand, dunes and beaches. There's a little bit of an interlude in a couple of hours time, but we'll get to that soon. But there's a little hint of what's coming up. Here's Bob. He, as usual, is far better prepared than I am. I'm enjoying this a little bit while I can. It's the path leading down to the beach. Trouble with walking east early in the morning on a clear day is the sun is shining right in my eyes. Now that's not a problem per se, but it does mean there's a bigger than likelihood chance of missing track markers. So I'm having to be a little bit careful on that front. It's a beautiful clear day today. There isn't a cloud in the sky, and the sun is climbing fast. One of the reasons for getting away early is to try and get as much of the walk done before it gets really hot. Because hot sun, no cover and sand walking are not going to be a nice combination. Well, I have to say I'm very pleasantly surprised. I've now gone 5 k's into the walk, and despite what the map clearly says is sand walking, isn't. So far it's all been this green path, which is fine, it's great. Hard surface, lovely to walk on. I have to say it's very dewy, so my boots are soaking wet, but that's fine, I'll put up with that. But now we've come to the end of it. Now we've got a left-hand turn, and we go down into the mystery wood. What's down there, I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Well, that's the mouth of the Irwin Inlet. It's a great big chunk out of the coast. Now we can, if we wanted to, cross the sandbar over there. But there's no designated path, they don't like you doing it. And if you do, it's not counted as a proper end-to-end. We have to go several kilometres into the bight to do something much more fun. Okay, I'm 8 k's into the walk now, and still pleasantly no sand dunes. Map was wrong, that's fine. But this is going to be today's highlight. As you can see, we're walking right alongside the river's edge now, and the track comes to the water's edge. We have to cross the inlet, and this is how we do it. Hikers on the Bibbulmun track walking along the south coast between Peaceful Bay and Albany have to navigate 4 inlet crossings: the Irwin, the Parry, the Wilson near the town of Denmark, and finally the Torbay. The first of these, the Irwin Inlet, is done by means of specifically provided canoes. We have here In this little shed currently 3 canoes, 3 sets of safety gear and paddles. And then somewhere over there, I'm not too sure yet, or over there, we have a corresponding hut. We need to take one of these canoes, load it up, launch from here and paddle our way across. There are detailed lists of instructions as to how to do it and what the procedure is for the canoes. Basically, they say that there are 6 canoes provided, and when you finish your crossing there should be approximately even numbers on either side. So, if the canoe you need to use is the last one available on your side of the inlet, it is incumbent upon you to make the crossing and return, towing a second canoe to the storage shed before recrossing to continue your hike, thereby ensuring that there are always enough canoes for following hikers to use. On my arrival, there were 3 boats available, so I need not have made the second or third crossing. But in the event I decided that as a paddle across the river would be fun, I did so anyway. The time taken to make the crossing was about 10 minutes, and with both a strong current and wind to contend with, one had to compensate by steering well upstream in order to land in the correct place. Right, well that's the fun part of the day done. It's 9 o'clock, I've been going for about 2.5 hours and still got 15 k's to go. Time for a breakfast Snickers, I think. Quite a remarkable area I'm walking through. I've never seen anything like it on all of the trail. They call it the showgrounds. And for as far as the eye can see, it's this low heathland. It's like a lush green carpet just covers the landscape, interspersed with pretty flowers and quite literally hundreds of kangaroos basking in the sun. Oh, well, it's taken a while, but I'm finally through the showgrounds. We're back out onto the coast and the beautiful, beautiful blue of the ocean. The sun is getting higher. It's about 10 o'clock, I think, and I'm really glad that I've got at least half of this trip over with before this time. It's all sun and sand dunes from now on, so it's going to be a much harder walk. But it's good to see the ocean again. The cooling breeze is very welcome, and who doesn't love the sound of the ocean? Well, we're back on the beach and we've got a 1.4k walk along it. I'm hoping the sand is rather hard. This is Big Quarram Beach. Ow. Ow. Well, I have to say that wasn't too bad at all. Dead flat beach, and with what is obviously a receding tide, most of the sand was as hard as concrete. It's probably the quickest 1.5 k's I've done all day. As we approach the end here, we've got to fight our way up through these rocks. There's a marker up there on the headland. That's going to be a climb and a half too. Well, after a couple of k's walking through the sand dunes, we're back on the beach again. This is Middle Quarram Beach. We've done Big Quarram. This is Middle Quarram. I assume Little Quarram somewhere. Stairway to Heaven? Jacob's Ladder? I don't know, but that's a long staircase. Well, that was 114 steps, but I have to say it'd be downright easier up the steps than struggling up a stand hill. So thank you for whoever put those. I think that's Boat Harbour, which means I'm getting really close to the campsite. Be interesting to see who's there tonight. I suspect Maddie might catch me up later. It's possible that a fellow I met at Peaceful Bay, Dave, might already be there. Can report seeing 3 snakes today. Tail end of a tiger, a metre long dugite, and a little one hardly worth thinking about. But at least I have now seen some snakes. Shelter's in sight. Just as well, I've just taken my last drink of water. First thing I'm going to do, gulp down a litre. First in, best dressed. That'll be my bed for the night, tucked away in the corner. Before I take my boots off, we might just do a quick dunny recce to see what supplies are like in there. After a good run down through the Pingrup Plains with plenty of toilet paper in all of the dunnies, we suddenly ran out 2 campsites ago. Nothing. Oh well, people have to make do with their own. Let's do some paperwork before it gets forgotten. It's interesting to look back through the book to this time last year and see my companion's progress down south. 29th of the 9th, 12 months ago, Sabrina. One day later, Russian, that's Julia, met her at Wally with Lorraine. Des finally separated from Sabrina. He was here 2 days after her. Tyler, the young man with his dodgy feet. And Chuck Cheesy, same day, that's Lorraine. So she's dragging behind the others quite considerably. I think that's probably all I had. And the other one would have been Rabbit Tracks. This is Rabbit Tracks, Crystal. She was here on the 18th. Just a lunch stop, as usual, running all the way, double hatting everything. I don't know how she does it. But there we go. Now we'll add my name to the list as having done it this year. Boat Harbour is a standard wooden shelter with the addition of a small annex, like the one at Rame Head. I assume it's to guard against the prevailing weather. It is named for a small nearby natural harbour, extensively used by local boaters and fishermen, so much so that there are signs up asking them not to use the shelter facilities and to keep them for the hikers. I was alone in the hut for an hour or so before being joined by northbound walker Zoe, and then a visitor of a different kind, stayed while enjoying the local cuisine. The kangaroo was entirely unfazed by our presence and stayed for about 15 minutes or so before the arrival of Maddie scared him away.
There's a bouncy boy in between me and the hut. Hello! Is he gonna move? Oh, off he bounces. Wow, big bounce. What a crash! Ah! Hello! Oh, did you get a great video of it?
Yep.
Oh,
Join me again next time when I reach the next and last track town at Denmark, having an impromptu interview with an MP and yet another banana.